Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Under the Umbrella podcast. I'm Ken. I'm here with Cam. Today, we're going to have a very interesting episode. We're going to talk about the Unrivaled Basketball League, and it's coming soon. So, we want to speak on that, explain the rules, the regulations of the game, who's the commissioner, how the league was found, just give you details, even tell you where the game will be streaming on and all that. And then we're going to give our little take and how we feel about it coming soon, and are we going to watch games or not, and how we're going to go about it. But before we get started, though, I want to thank everybody who's been listening on YouTube, on the podcast. And, man, we appreciate it. Just keep liking, keep giving us follows, critique, input, comments. We'll take all of that. DM us if you need to. If you need us to talk about a team, a player, you want to hear our opinion on something, anytime. Anything you want to say to them folks, Cam?
Follow up on what you said. We appreciate, everybody's support and y'all sticking with us, following us, subscribe to YouTube, watch those, like you said, liking, our content. Still, if maybe YouTube ain't your thing, still go on, check out our audio. That's still available. So, even today, talking to you before we started recording, all the subscribers to the YouTube channel, this is something we just started this season, so type of support, that's crazy. So I definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, that's love. That's love. So we're going to kick it off. So the Unrivaled Basketball League is a new league that just been founded in 2023 by Neficia Collier and Brianna Stewart. And the league was basically the league came about to make up for players going overseas so they could earn that extra money to live to create it so they could take care of their family instead of them being away from their family and friends. These two great basketball players came together and just bought an idea, probably with a collective of other players, but it were their idea first, and they put it out there. So I think that's kind of unique to start off. Like, they just came up with something that's like, it's different, and it's coming soon. It's not like 5 years from now. It's coming January 17th, 25 next year, early next year too, and it's going to debut in Miami. So that's going to be nice. And it's about 36 players. 36 players. I think they have 30 right now. Cam going to probably get more into the players. I'm just giving you a quick overall debrief. And I know the game's going to be streaming on TNT, True TV, and Max, if I'm not mistaken. And the lead president is Alex Rezel. I don't want to mess his name up. I know he's Collier's husband, and he's like a skilled coach that's like well known in like the basketball world for like the more popular players. And the commissioner is Mick Lawyer, who is I think she ran like a tennis league, or if I'm not mistaken. And one of the cool things about this league, they have backings from Alley Financial, because I use Alley. I'm not here to promote them, but I'm just saying I use them because they be giving back some good
My car
interest.
my car's done.
Yeah. So the league, he got their first funding from them as like a big corporation, which is cool, I think. And then also on a media end, they was able to get a ESPN and a Turner Network former CEO to run their media section. So I think that's it. Like, that means they're in good hands, because you're not gonna just get a job, like, you're not just gonna be an ESPN CEO of media and they not and you're not doing a good job. They're gonna fire you right away. So that's a good sign. The lead. So Cam, you want to get on the rules? You want to talk about the rules of the game, like how they play style gonna be?
Me and you was talking off camera. It's gonna be a compressed full court, which we were talking about a little bit. Because I figured I kind of knew what it was, but once we started talking about it, it started making. But for having a compressed full court, it's just gonna make the game more intense, a little bit more. I think it's gonna make the game like we were talking about that kind of, we were talking about with, and how be something they may want to look into in the future, just to kind of consider it, because obviously, mostly want to keep it like a 5-on-5, like a traditional court, whatever the case. But press full court, that'll definitely make the games a little bit more exciting, a little bit more of a something people want to watch. So I think to speak on before we got to that was um looked into all 30 players that, I guess, because I'm not sure if they were selected or if they, like, you know out and said, yo, like, I want to play whatever. um the players receive equity ownership in the league, which I was telling my wife about that last night because she didn't really know about and I was explaining that part to her. For salaries and um, women's sports in general. Not only the salary, because like you said, most players end up going overseas. So if they can get that type of money and stay in the States, and like you said, stay around their friends and family and not have to be traveling to other countries, that's big for not basketball but women's sports, because you may have or other leagues that become created based on that type of formula. But I think it's big having the 30 initial players receive equity ownership in Unrivaled. Like, that's crazy, which that's unheard of. So I think a lot of the steps that they're taking in this league are like, it's good for women's basketball, but I think a lot of the steps they're taking women's sports in general for a long time. So big what was on some of the stuff like that?
Oh yeah, so just to clarify to everyone that's listening, it's a 3v3 full court. It's similar to the big three, but they just not playing half court. They playing full court, and like Cam said, it's compressed. So I do like that it's compressed, and I always brought up this concept that the the court that they do play on right now are built for men that are like average height, like 6'6", 6'8". So the spacing is always a little bit off. If you truly watch WNBA or college basketball, the spacing is a little off. And I'm not trying to belittle women's basketball. I think it's better if when the court get more compressed, it creates an intense environment, like almost like the overseas play, to like you being in a middle school gym, and the environment could get intense, and that could bring out a lot of play. That could create more creativity. Like, because you're so limited, you're going to feel so limited. You go like, yo, I got to find a way to do certain stuff. So that's one thing I do. I like that it is a compressed lead, and you don't got them running all day because they still got to go play a real professional level sport. And like the contracts are cool. I think I like the contract idea too. I think it will create a new lane for other sports. So and we won't deal with another possibly a not a we won't deal with a possible we're trying to avoid a Brittany Griner situation again, basically. You don't want somebody to be in that situation again, where like kind of mess with their lifestyle and they're missing friends and family. So I think that's great. And the so it's 6 teams. So it's a total of 36 players and 30 committed. And there's 6 teams. And the 6 teams gonna possibly have 6 players if you do the math. Each team should have 6 players. But the question I got for you, Cam, I didn't find any information. I don't know if they're doing a draft style, or it's more like, hey, I'm linking up with like a friend and we all about to play. So what you think they're gonna do?
Think about when I was just looking at because obviously we're gonna get into some of the players that committed, thinking that too, like how they were gonna go about gonna play for what teams. Maybe I don't know if they're gonna do like a draft, or like you said, if it's just like, all right, pick your team type of thing. Like, like a pickup game. But I think if they did like maybe like a little draft or something, that'd be cool. Trying to kind of make like a little event out of it. I think cool. But either way, it's the best of the best. So I think either way, whoever plays together, it's gonna be great basketball. Because like I said, if you once we start going through some of these names, it's like, yeah, it's gonna be some good basketball regardless.
Yeah, that's a fact. And then the other thing that's cool too, like we was talking offline before we recorded, the 6 teams are not associated with a city. So that's like that overseas basketball club style, which I think is like awesome. Like they're just gonna be out there. It's not like, oh, this is just gonna be like free fall. So it's not like, oh, one woman is associated to this city, so she's not going hard. No favoritism. You just playing almost like AAU style basketball on a high level, in my opinion. So that's cool. So you want to get into the players cam? I'll pop up the players for the audience can see who some of these players are, so they could know it's like some legit hoopers gonna be out there. So right here we got all the teams, the 6 teams, their logos imprinted up there on the top. And Cam, whenever you ready, you call out these stars, these women's stars, for real, for real. But I do got, hey
See,
Cam, at the end, I do got a question for you though, bro.
all right, so obviously, Brianna Stewart and Nafisha Collier are the two players that um founded the league. So those are obviously the two names that everyone associates with the league. Um, but Kelsey Plum will be playing from the Aces, Chelsea from the Aces, Kalia Carter, Era, her last name, I ain't gonna botch it, but we know who we talking about. Um, Jewel Lloyd, Jackson, Angel Reese, Derek Hemby, Kayla McBride, Satu Ali, McLeod, Tyler Diggins. We got Rakia Jackson, which I'm excited to see her play in a 3-on-3 setting with the type of defense she be playing. That's gonna be crazy. But Courtney will be playing
Yeah,
as well.
yep,
Um, Shakira, then Tiffany's. Um, I He's really. I feel like her post presence is definitely gonna be felt in this league. And then we got Dora Stevens, and then we got
yep.
Courtney Williams, who I'm excited to see Courtney Williams in this environment as well, especially with how she played in the finals. I feel like this is gonna be, like I said, the names pretty explain itself. Like what's coming with this league. It's not like how we were basically comparing it a little bit to the big three, but I think it's like three just only had the best of the best former players that just, all had careers that were at a certain level and all playing against each other, which I'm not, like you said before about women's basketball, I'm not saying this to diminish the big three men league or anything like that, but um their roster spots are players that had short stints in the NBA and stuff like that. But I feel like with a league like this where it's current players, I think for the most part they're all healthy. So it's basketball. But just a question for me.
Yeah, so we know we have 30 committed players. It's 36 spots. One, it's like almost a two-part question. One, the first question is, who you think fill fill in these last 6 spots? That's my first question for you. And my second question is one of them gonna be Caitlin Clark, aka Cece? Is Cece taking the invite? Because an environment like this is hyper, like you just brought up Carrington. Imagine Carrington guarding CC in this environment. It's like crazy. So it's
That's
like
that's that's must
my
see
question
right.
to you: we'll get back to it. Yeah. So who you think will be the last 6? If you had to pick, you don't got to put 6 players out there, but people you think like, yo, they definitely should be in this league.
Agree. I think Caitlin Clark should play. Like, I feel like this type of environment is, especially offensively, I feel like she will be able to thrive in this league, which I'm sure she's talked to um, Brianna Stewart and Collier about if she would play. Because, I mean, obviously Angel Reese is playing. So they probably reached out to her at some point. Maybe she didn't want to commit right away, and maybe she will at some point. Her type of skill set, I just feel like it would fit. Like, you have more spacing as far as playing a 3-on-3 versus a 5-on-5. But Caitlin would be a perfect fit for it. Um,
No, Sabrina needs to play because I feel like, I
Obviously,
already
her
feel like,
skill
yo, if
set,
you gotta, she needs to play.
skill set,
She don't
it's
need to,
very
but I think she should play.
great. Like, I think her skill set, similar to a Caitlin Clark, like that, I feel like that style of play will fit very well in this league, and I think, having like them with the influence they have, I'm like, that would turn the league up even more. Obviously, there's already big enough to hold it, for them to hold their own. But I think those two right there would be perfect for this league. I think who else could fit? But I mean, any players that maybe play a team where they don't get to showcase their skill set necessarily all the time. I think any player like that who is as a league where they're kind of really working on their game and working on their offensive game, um, they should try to get involved. But said um with players, like, we want to see that, like, especially in a 3-on-3 setting, it's a little bit more
Yeah.
like a person like matchup situation where it's not gonna be a bunch of switches and that type of thing, and a bunch of, I mean, obviously you're gonna have to screen and move because it's 3-on-3. Like, anybody that ever played 2-on-2, 3-on-3, um, whether it's practice or whatever, you kind of know how you gotta move when you're playing 2 and 3-on-3 versus a 5-on-5 game. You really gotta cut, you really gotta move, you really gotta set good screens, stuff like that. So I think it'll be a great league. Um Kind of like players you think that may try to fill those last 6 spots.
I I want Asia Wilson to play just because I think Asia Wilson, Stewie, or Collier matchup would be like nice to see them go against each other in that setting where it ain't gonna be too much help and they gotta like do their thing. And Asia Wilson, I don't know, Sabrina, just because I'm gonna be a little hard on Sabrina, and I'm a Liberty fan. I'm gonna be hard on her because you are Nike signature player, so I think you should be out there playing, but she don't have to. Um, I don't know, is Copper playing from Mercury? Copper should play. Even bring Diana Taurasi if
Yeah,
she's
she's
up to it. I know she's older. Yeah. I don't know if she's on the list.
playing.
I didn't really deep dive the list. That's why I asked you to do the list. Oh yeah. So all right,
Yeah,
Diana Taurasi probably just for like Diana Taurasi playing.
Copper's playing. Tarasi playing, as far as I know.
Okay, like Taurasi and Mitchell from the Fevers. For the Fever, I said Fevers. Fever and
Else-
one more person. I
Yeah,
think
that's a good one.
one
That's
more
a
person. Yep. And just to like intensify everything, I think Kennedy Carter. I guess I've been botching her name, but I felt like when I watched her in college, they would say Kennedy, but I guess her name is Kennedy. So I'm sorry for botching her name all this time. But Kennedy Carter should play. But I'm pretty sure I just seen her overseas. But I hope she
follower
plays.
on
So
Instagram. I
that would
think
be cool, like
she's
adding all
playing
that
her right
intense
now.
environment.
playing in China right now.
Yeah, so I think she plays overseas because yeah, I think she's like one of those big overseas kind of player. Because when she was out the W, she was overseas. So, but I was like hoping a player like her will get a chance to like showcase to more people like she could hoop. Because a lot of people just think she's just known for being like a pest or bothering Caitlin Carr, but she could really hoop.
Yeah.
Like, so that would been a great environment for her. But yeah, before we finish off too, something that's like I didn't know until I started doing my research on the league that I thought was kind of cool. They have a mid-season 1v1 tournament. I think that's so fire, and the winner get what 250K. I think that's fire. That's gonna be fire.
That's where I feel like players like Kelsey Mitchell, Kennedy Carter, though, like they might mess around. If they got in there, they might win a 1v1 tournament type thing.
Yeah, like I think
Like
that's
think
like
about even just those three alone: Courtney Williams, Kennedy Carter, and like it's hard in front of them. Yeah, that's crazy. That would be tough for real.
that's why I was like that would be a crazy environment. So that's why I personally before we end off, Cam, I just want to say like. I think the lead is gonna be great for basketball in general. We just keep the fuel going for women's basketball, giving it that respect and that love it should have, and then it generates the money that they want and deserve. So I'm gonna be watching January 7th of next year, 3 days, 3 or 4 days after my birthday. I'm gonna be watching, so I'm excited to see how the league progress and how it does, and if it continue and creates a trend for other leagues. Any last take, Cam, before we get off this?
Can't wait, honestly. Like you said, I for it to start in January, just so we can watch and see how it progresses. Just to see, like you said, eventually how they do, like the rosters for the teams and how they go about selecting who plays for who. But once they get that figured out, and then kind of everyone knows what to expect on, as far as the teams go, it's in my opinion, because like I said, you've never really seen anything like this, um, from just itself to um, salaries, the equity ownership, the 1v1 tournament, like that stuff we never really seen. So I know it's going to be big, and I think it's going to draw even more attention to the W. Obviously the W been growing over the last few years, but I think something like this, and I feel like that's probably why Nafisha Collier did it, because they knew like if we can kind of keep this in the States and draw even more attention to the players that are in the W, then it'll just help their on this. I feel like will just help the W on the back end when it comes to their players and getting, exposure and just having more eyes on not just the league, but the individual players. I feel like that'll start having it to where a lot of these women become more of like a household name as far as their brand and stuff like that. So that's
Yeah, man. We appreciate everybody watching. Before we head off here, I want to say thank you to everyone listening. And whenever you get a chance, hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Check for us on Spotify, like, comment, everything, man. Until next time, y'all, stay under the umbrella, as always.